I'm gonna use two tribes in this scenario.
Okay.
There is Bangwatu
All right.
and then there's Kalangas.
Yes.
So initially, when the Kalangas came, they were initially from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So they were given land by the Bangwatu,
Okay.
by the then chief of Bangwatu,
Okay.
and then he gave them like land, and then the people there, they felt like they were above the
Okay. The people that were originally there.
yeah from Bangwatu.
Good evening, Africa. Welcome to Unique Africa. Like I earlier announced, we are still in Gaborone. Today we are in Block 5 and we are sitting with Tato Kale from Block 5. She's a resident of Gaborone. She lives here, she works here. She was born in Gaborone and she has spent her whole life in this wonderful city. So she's going to tell us a lot about what we can expect in this country, what we can expect in Gaborone, and she's going to also tell us why Africans and people from all over the world should visit this beautiful country. Good evening and welcome to you.
Welcome.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to you. Once again, Unique to Africa is a channel for Africans. It's a place where entrepreneurs can speak freely. They can talk about their businesses, their challenges that they face, but also it's a channel that exposes and give African businesses and cultures massive exposure to the entire continent and also to the rest of the world. Your surname is very much linked to South Africa. You guys seem very much like one people. Since I moved and I walked in here, or since I arrived in Botswana, I realized that especially this side of the country, most of the people speak the same language that you will hear in a place like Rustenburg. Is there any connection between the two?
There is a connection because initially, before there was divisions of the countries in Africa,
Yeah.
Botswana was
What was Botswana? It was it part of S?
Botswana was part of most of the parts in South Africa.
Yeah.
So the people who are called Tswanas
Yes.
were just interlinked, and they lived in an area where they could move freely between the places. So now, after the divisions, then the other members of the Tswana tribe were left in SA, and the others were now in Botswana, where it's now called Botswana because we were the Tswanas.
Okay.
Mm.
And also the language that you guys, the Tswana that you guys speak in Botswana, is it exactly the same as the one that is spoken in South Africa?
It's not the same.
It's not the
It's
same.
a slight differences
Okay. So
because of location and like interactions.
okay. So but someone that would come for example from South Africa that speaks Tswana,
Mm.
they will not have a huge problem understanding what you guys say, right?
No, no, we understand each other.
Okay. And
Mm.
I'm also supposing that a lot of the Tswanas here in Botswana, they have a lot of relatives back in South Africa.
Not everyone, but those who live along the border, like Ramutswa,
Yeah.
Good Hope, they yeah,
Okay.
Muchudi as well.
All right. Now, besides the Tswana tribe, if you allow me call it tribe,
Mm.
are there other tribes in Botswana
Besides Tswanas,
besides
yeah,
the Tswanas? Yeah.
yeah. There is Kalangas, there's the Bakhalagadi,
Okay.
there's Basara, there is Bahambushu, like the
Okay.
ones near Namibia.
Yeah.
And then what else is there? the other tribes, like there's
There's a Kalangas,
Batsapung,
because I met some
there's
Kalangas,
Kalangas, and
yes.
there's Batsapung as well.
Okay.
Mm,
And these different tribes, they speak different languages.
they do.
Okay. Are there similarities between the languages or
Not necessarily,
okay.
because, for example, like I said, when I said the Tswanas who are along the borders to the south,
Yeah.
they normally are related to the people in South Africa.
Okay.
And then with the Kalangas that are closer to Zimbabwe,
Okay.
and the Hambukushus and Hereros that are
Yeah.
closer to Namibia.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, so you guys also have the Hereros.
Mm.
Because I just came back from Namibia,
Mm.
and this explains a lot. Like it just shows how Africa is one. Because with all these different borders that were created, you'll find that a lot of the tribes they had to then migrate to the other side where maybe they have their families, but then the languages still remained in that territory
So
where
it's
they
just
were.
divided in half, but
Yeah,
that's still one
one-
group.
that's right.
Mm.
Okay, and like in other African countries, is there any aspect of animosity between these tribes? Like
Like where
today,
they don't get along.
yes.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay,
Mm.
what causes some of those things? I can give you an example. For example, in some countries in Africa, where they have these different tribes, some tribes will think they are superior than these ones. The other
Mm.
ones are more of them in government than the other ones.
Mm.
Is that the
It's,
case
it's
in?
yes, it's there.
Okay.
Mm.
Or do you mind to talk about that?
For I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna use two tribes in
O-
this scenario.
Okay.
There is Bangwatu,
All right.
and then there's Kalangas.
Yes.
So initially, when the Kalangas came, they were initially from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So they were given land by the Bangwat,
Okay.
by the then chief of Bangwat,
Okay.
and then he gave them like land, and then the people there, they felt like they were above the,
Okay. The people that were originally there.
yeah, from Bangwat to land. So um, because of that,
Yes.
the whole interaction between them, will, I think at this point is still there.
Okay.
The Kalangas, they feel the need to prove that they are just good enough and they're better till today.
That explains why. I mean, I was driving with this guy to another town, and he kept insisting on the fact that the Kalangas are very successful. They are
Mm.
proud Kalangas, stuff like that. What about the food? Do you guys share like a common national diet, or each tribe has its own, what do you call it? Their own traditional meal.
Each tribe has its own, but then that things, some things that are common in most.
In most of the tribes.
Mm.
What would be the one dish in Botswana that all these different tribes would enjoy?
It's beef,
Beef,
siswa. Siswa
seswa.
is from the beef. It's
Everyone,
pounded meat.
everyone has told me about the seswa. Can you tell us about seswa? What is
A
it?
siswa is just powdered meat.
Pounded meat.
It's, yeah, you just cook it slowly for many hours and you just put salt. But it tastes really nice. It kind of melts in your mouth because it's well cooked.
But this meat, is it pounded before it's actually cooked, or it's pounded when it's been cooked?
After, at the end.
After.
It's
Okay.
shredded. Like I've seen some videos like for Americans, so it's just shredded beef.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's
So
pretty.
it's done at the end.
So it's pretty much like mince meat.
No, no, minced meat is done before cooking,
Yeah.
and then siswa, you cook the meat. You pick the best parts that will just give it that, the flavor and the taste.
Okay.
And then you boil it.
Yes.
You wait. You just keep boiling. Just keep putting more water
Yeah.
for hours
Okay.
until when you touch it like with a like a spoon, or
Yeah.
not really a spoon. What do you call that thing that you use for cooking? And you put it in and it should just fall apart.
I see. Okay. And what is it served with?
Usually, like either you ask what's the common thing.
Yeah.
Common thing that you find in any tribe here would be pap.
Okay.
Mm.
So most of the different tribes will eat pap.
Everybody.
I think that's actually common across Africa.
Yes.
Most of the different tribes, whatever they're eating it with, they might have a special dish that is not common in other countries.
Mm.
But if they
It's
are
just
stuff,
pap and then
yeah, and something else. So I think that's right. So you can eat the seswa with pap.
It's commonly eaten in pub.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's talk about something else,
Mm,
traditional marriages.
mm,
In most African countries, before you marry a woman,
mm,
or yeah, or a girl, whatever whatever age that is, um, there are certain rights that are expected from the man's family. So you have to buy goats or cows, and
mm,
sometimes the how deep the pocket of this man, how deep is the pocket of this man determines how many number of cows they'll pay, which is not supposed to be custom, by the way, but some families take advantage of that.
mm,
What is the process
mm.
of marrying a Botswana? Is that
What's
correct?
on go?
A Botswana girl.
Well, normally what is done is if you want to marry a girl,
Yeah.
you don't go there personally to ask. So you
Okay.
send your uncles.
Okay.
The uncles they go and they ask for a meeting with your family. They
Okay.
meet your parents and they ask for your hand in marriage.
Yeah.
And then after they've done that and they ask you the bride to be if you totally agree you are in it.
Yeah.
And then if you say yes, they start the marriage rites and
Okay.
it comes in stages.
Okay.
Mm.
Can you take us through the stages, because there might be someone that is sitting in the DRC or Cameroon or in South Africa for that matter that wants to get married to
Actually, I'm gonna
someone
go.
in so just to prepare them
Uh,
to the process that they have to follow, you know.
Okay. Uh, I'm gonna just highlight because I've never been married, so I wouldn't really know the other rights.
Okay.
But what happens is after the uncles ask for your hand and you agree, then
Yeah.
what they will do is there's gonna be they'll ask for lobola,
Yeah.
and then they like they ask, and then you come now give lobola,
Yes.
and there'll be a ceremony for the lobola.
Do you guys also call it lobola?
Mm,
Oh,
Buhati,
bukhati.
buhati.
And for those of you who don't understand what lobola is, lobola in South Africa is like a bride price. I'm not sure what it's called
Yeah,
in
it is
Cameroon.
bride price.
Yeah, it is a bride price. It's the money that you pay before, or whatever the, the the gift that you're supposed to give before you take a woman's hand in
Mm,
marriage.
mm.
So in Tswana, it's called Bugatti,
Buhati also lobola is so fine.
also lobola.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah,
So after the lobola, then there is from what I know, because we have to do the government certificates.
okay,
You also have to register that
yeah,
for your wedding. So usually the ceremony is just for the lobola, and then there is a ceremony for the wedding.
okay,
Okay, so you're gonna have two sort of like ceremonies
okay.
that are official, and then during lobola, it's not only the bride price that you get. There's other things.
The taxi driver said, I don't know how the conversation came about. I might have said, "Oh, these the women in Botswana are very beautiful,"
Mm,
and he said, "Please do not even dare, because they don't like to get married." Uh,
I don't think so.
you don't think so? Well, this is what he explained to me, and I am really hoping that women in Botswana don't crucify me for saying this. Um, he said they enjoy having fun, right? Which I don't think it's a problem, and they would only want, or they would even only consider marriage when they are 29, 30, when they've actually lived.
Retiring.
Yeah. I'm not going to use the word retire, but yeah, something close to that, like when they're thinking, we're done with life, we want to settle now. Is that your opinion as well?
No.
No.
Yeah, I think for him that's what he thinks.
Okay.
But I think marriage is something that comes from the man you're dating,
Okay.
as opposed to you as a lady saying, "I want to get," especially in Africa.
Yeah.
Like if you were maybe in Europe,
Yeah.
you could say, "Oh, let's get married to a man," right?
Yeah.
But here, I doubt if a lady can be that forthcoming and say, "I want us to settle down and let's get married." So I think the reason why it appears that the ladies are playing
Yeah.
is because the men themselves are not ready.
They are not ready.
Mm.
And what makes you say that?
Mostly because I've met some guys who they do want to get married, but they're just not resourced to.
Okay.
because of the the marriage rights. You know, that you have to pay lobola, you have to
Yeah.
buy a suit for some uncle, you
Okay.
have to buy so many things for
Okay.
the wedding. So
So would you say that the expenses that are involved in getting married traditionally
mm,
and also making it official, there might be a deterrent,
hindering,
yeah,
yeah,
to young men in Botswana getting married.
yes,
So they're possibly using this whole thing as an excuse for saying girls don't want to get married.
mm,
Okay. All right. I just hope that this is not going to cause a conflict. We're just trying to understand the different cultures in Africa. Now, in most African countries, we have come to a point now where marriage between Africans from any part of Africa is allowed. For example, someone from Zambia could easily get married to a lady in Namibia,
mm,
and or someone from Tanzania can get married to a lady in the DRC.
mm,
But some families and some countries, actually,
mm.
their citizens still frown upon this. What is the situation in Botswana? Do foreign marriages or marriages to foreign nationals,
Intermarriages.
yeah, is it something that is frowned upon in Botswana, or it's it's allowed?
Intermarriages here in Botswana, I think, are very common.
Okay,
Actually, I think they're getting more popular.
okay. So you have cases of women from Botswana that are married to
Foreign men,
foreign men.
mm,
Is the number growing?
it's a number is growing.
And what is the reaction? Because the problem always comes with men.
Mm,
Men don't want to see girls from their country getting married to foreign men. I mean, there is a big debate around this, but
mm,
that's not the topic of the day.
mm.
So, is that the case in Botswana?
Yeah, some men feel like, these foreigners are taking our women. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that one is there.
but
Yeah.
but you guys don't have like an uproar where they actually revolt against it and they openly show that
They don't like it.
they don't like it.
No, they just talk like in private, like at the bars and chill sessions. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you guys have a name for foreigners? A derogatory name in your country?
We do
Okay. What is it called?
mukwarkwer.
Mu? Mu?
Mukwarkwer.
So it's the same as in essay.
Yeah.
So right now I'm a Mukwerekwer.
Kwerkwer.
So they might have even called me that name at the police
When
station
you
today.
left here.
Okay. And business. Do you
Mm.
think Namibia is a good place for investors to come to?
And then we walked on.
Botswana, sorry. Botswana. Do you think Botswana is? See, I'm moving from one country to the other, so I'm bound to talk about the country that I just exited. But
Mm.
anyway, yeah, Botswana. Do you think it's a place where
Investors.
investors should invest in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Botswana is a good place
Yeah.
because it's peaceful.
Yeah.
The people are just relaxed, and the economy is growing,
Yes.
and the population, I think, is also growing.
Yeah.
And the way things are done, it accommodates an investor to, you know, to be sure, like, if I do this here, I
Yeah.
won't down the line, I
Okay.
won't have problems.
So if someone is business minded and they are listening to this conversation,
Mm.
what are some of the key areas that you think people should invest in Botswana? I know you are not into business, but from your own general view,
Mm.
what area do you think might be suitable for investors or people looking to come do business in Botswana?
Um, the way I see it, I think for business owners, they would do well if they were looking for maybe a place to manufacture, to
Okay.
plant and distribution, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of land.
Yeah.
And also, I read an article once, but I don't know what happened. They talked about creating electricity through solar,
Yeah.
and the project that they talked about the solar being installed in the colored,
Okay.
yeah, and that they could generate a lot of electricity from it because it's hot all the time.
Okay. So solar should be one of the areas that people should focus on.
Because they could, the way that they said, it
Yeah.
could be sold to other African countries.
Yes.
Mm,
Okay. As you commune
mm,
daily to
mm,
work and back,
mm,
um, and I say this because you've also traveled outside Botswana.
mm,
As you commune to work daily
mm.
and as you interact in different places, supermarkets, nightclubs, bars, transport, what gaps do you see that you have noticed in other countries that could be filled in Botswana? So, are there any gaps that you notice? I'll give you an example. When I was in Namibia,
Mm,
I one of the things that I picked up was delivery services is not really common.
mm,
It might exist, but I was not so fortunate to use one because most of the times that I wanted something, it was either not there or it was too late.
mm,
So, what areas would you say have gaps that investors can come in? And I'm not talking about big things, which is why I said
mm,
you commune daily. So,
mm.
what areas have you noticed people can actually invest in or that can be filled?
I think, like you said, the delivery service, because if you want food,
Yeah.
um, they are companies, yes, like big franchises,
Yes.
Nando's, KFC, they deliver if you need the food to be delivered. But um, in terms of independent delivery,
Yeah.
it's it's there, it's just not that popular.
Okay.
So there needs to be somebody who comes in aggressively
Yeah.
and do an app like the ones I've seen. I don't know what they're called in America, in SA,
Yeah.
where you just log in the app and want this food, you want that, you
Yeah.
want your beer to be delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you're saying there are no apps actually that you could, like you said, Nando's would deliver. So they're probably using the Nando's website or Nando's app, but you
But
don't
it's
have
not
an
a,
independent app
yeah,
where
like
you can.
combined, yeah.
Well, Africa, for those of you who are tech savvy or those of you who have money that can actually venture into businesses like this, Botswana actually has a gap that you can fill and make a lot of money from it. So if you can build an app or if you can sponsor the building of an app in Botswana, you would definitely be making some good money from it. The country is expanding every day. There are millions of people living in the city that will require such services. So it is time for Africans from all over the continent who are looking to invest to start from there. There is a gap in the market of delivery. So if you're looking to do that, please, you are welcome. Botswanas do welcome um, investors. If you listen to the previous conversation that I had with the gentleman at the park, he actually said that the government creates almost like a system where investors are actually not taxed for a certain period of time.
Mm,
And it depends on the industry that you're investing in. You can actually be given land for free. So I spoke to a gentleman who's actually, I think he works for government, and he gave me that information. Okay. Are there any other gaps that you would talk of? I saw you guys already have InDriver.
mm.
Do you find it to be effective um, in Botswana in terms of picking up and dropping off passengers?
At this point, it's effective in, I think, in gaps
Yeah.
because that's where it started. But when I was outside of gaps
Yeah.
in like a village
Yes.
surrounding, it's
Yes.
not far from gaps actually.
Okay.
So what I realized was I tried to order one
Yes.
and there was no one available
There's no
because
one
you
else.
need to have people in certain radius.
Okay.
Mm.
And I also picked up that it doesn't really have a competition.
It doesn't.
Yeah, so there is just InDriver and nothing else, except for the other local taxis.
And it's actually something that the local taxi
Yes.
they are against completely.
Yeah, no, that is a given in any country when e-hailing, because it's called e-hailing.
Hmm.
Once e-hailing arrives, the taxi driver they are up in arms. They're ready to make sure that you guys are buried immediately. But it's not some. There is nothing they can do about it. They can get violent. They can, but this will always
Because they
thrive.
because they feel like they're not licensed.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know why they feel like that. E-hailing actually has its own license.
No, I mean
I
the
think
drivers don't
okay,
have a permit. They are saying they are paying for permit
okay,
to be taxis, and then people are just coming in
okay,
just to get the money, and there's no evidence of who's doing what when.
okay. Have you guys ever had a situation where there was like a strike protest action
There was
between
something
the
they went to our national TV to complain, the taxi association.
okay,
Mm.
and what did the government say about it?
I don't know the outcome now because I think it's still ongoing.
Okay,
Because they were like they're paying all this fees
yeah,
with transport, then why should the other people just come in
benefit,
and
yeah,
benefit for free?
yeah. Okay. Finally, places to visit in Botswana. Um, and before I even go there, I just want to make a general announcement. I have been to many, many countries in the world, um, and I've seen hospitality. Africans are very hospitable people, but I have to say, what I've experienced in Botswana is phenomenal. They are ready to engage. They are ready to assist. They will cross the fire for you if you are genuine and you really looking for something. They'll go out of their way to make sure that they assist you. So I am inviting Africans and people around the world to visit Botswana. But I would also like you to tell us um, where are some of these attractions? Where should people visit when they visit Botswana?
There are many attractions in Botswana,
Okay.
but I'm gonna talk about one so that I'm not all over.
Yeah.
Um, Most people go to Kasane and Mau,
Okay.
where there's the Okavango Delta.
Okay.
It's very famous in the world.
Yeah.
It's one of the few, and everybody who's anybody like worldwide comes here
Okay.
for it.
Okay. So in Maroon, let's take Maroon for example. What exactly is there to see?
I think it's the Okavango Delta.
The Delta.
Mm.
What exactly is that?
And the what you call game reserves, like where the animals.
Yeah.
And Botswana has like elephants.
Yeah.
That is, from what I know,
Yeah.
it's not common. They
Or
have the
in
most.
yeah.
Mm.
Or they have the most there in Maroon.
Mm.
And how many kilometers is it from Gaborone to, because most people that will come to that will visit the country, I think most of the times the first place they'll land at would be like the capital city.
Mm.
And like now we are in Gaborone.
Mm.
So how long would it take from what is the distance between Gaborone and Maun, for example?
I don't know about the distance, but I know like if you leave, like, cause my boss is from Mau,
Okay.
so I know when you leave Havron, when she leaves it, she can leave at I think 6 7 p.m.
Okay.
She arrives in the morning.
She arrives in the morning.
Mm. That's all I know.
Okay. So we're looking at about a
So she
thousand
usually takes an
kilometers.
overnight bus,
Okay.
yes.
All
But
right.
if you fly, I think it's 1 hour.
And there are flights to Maun.
Mm.
So Maun has an airport. Is it just domestic or international?
I think it's international.
Okay.
Mm.
So you can actually fly from Maun to like out of the country.
Yeah, I think there's a flight from Maui to Cape Town actually, where you
Okay.
come from.
Okay. All right. So we have been talking to Tato Hatle Kuthle. I am still battling to pronounce this name, but I think I've done my best. She's just giving us insights as to what we can expect if we or should we visit Botswana, and we want to thank her for that. Please do subscribe to Unique to Africa. We'll be bringing you more of this content. And if you um, think that there is a specific culture, a type of business that you would like the world to know about, please do invite us to listen and share your story. For Unique to Africa, we want to thank Tato for giving us the opportunity to listen and know more about Botswana. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
and have a wonderful evening. Bye.